Chris Ross is the deputy mayor of Lacombe, and he was on stage, and he was part of a fairly lengthy ceremony we did outdoors, and he said, it's great we all turned up. I know Lacombe, I had no doubt. I mean, we dressed for it and we enjoyed ourselves. He was wearing running shoes, no gloves, jeans, a windbreaker, and a baseball cap. No toque, no parka, no nothing. He's the deputy mayor of Lacombe, and as he said, he would rather work in the cold than in the hot sun. You know, most farmers would much prefer cold to blazing hot sun. You know, that's how Don Cherry's always proud of the expression redneck, comes from the burn on your neck when you're working outdoors. So yeah, there's an old saying. Noel Coward, the playwright, used to have this saying about comparing the East and the West, New York to Los Angeles. He said, when it's minus 40 in New York, it's 72 degrees in LA. And when it's plus 100 in New York, it's 72 degrees in LA. There are 6 million interesting people live in New York. 72 in LA. That's what made me think of. Yeah, I got caught, and this happened to me at the Heritage Classic in 2003 in Edmonton, the very first outdoor game. We had difficulty making ice for the actual NHL game. They had alumni in the afternoon, and then the Montreal Canadiens and Edmonton Oilers were set to play that night, and for whatever reason it was so bitterly cold that when you flood, the water doesn't freeze and adhere to the existing ice. It just forms a shale of ice that flakes off, and it's no good. So they were having real trouble, so they said, Ron, get Wayne Gretzky, Guy Lafleur, and Don Cherry and do an interview, but we were outside. And at one point, my earpiece, the telex, we call it, popped out of my ear, which is disconcerting to the viewer to look at this dangling thing. So I was taking off my glove and heat warmer and trying to put that thing back in my ear while I'm talking to Wayne Gretzky and Guy Lafleur. And I got it in, but then my hand was exposed for about 30 minutes. And I sincerely, as I'm doing the interview, thinking, I'm going to lose my right hand. I mean, my choices are, you know, I let on that I'm a suck, or I suck it up, Buttercup, as Carrie's been instructed to do in the dance-off. And yeah, cold weather experiences. I had a 90-minute autograph moment in Lacombe where I just went out to sign for 4 people, but then we all, you know, saw that somebody was doing something, and people took notice, and they lined up, and I got pinned for an hour and a half outside with no gloves, no toque, and I had to suck it up, Buttercup. I had to cowboy up. It was Lacombe, and it was an incredible visit. When I think of the whole central Alberta region, it was funny, I had very little sleep. We had about 2 hours sleep because the flight out of Toronto was delayed 3.5 hours. Roads out of Calgary were terrible. So on the bright spot, I remember when I used to do the Red Deer Rustler Junior A broadcast, we'd drive along in a bus. This was in a kind of a suburban. And I was looking out the window at the farms and the lights and thinking, I used to go out of Red Deer and wonder if they get CKRD radio in Didsbury. I wonder if they get it in Carstairs. I wonder if they can hear our broadcast of the Junior A hockey. And I had that same feeling going up to Lacombe for hometown hockey, so how many years later. And then we get there and we have a band performing that are based in Calgary and Airdrie, Nice Horse, and they're all in zoot suits, great ski outfits, and miraculously played in minus 30 conditions with a wind chill. Lloyd Lewis knows that your guitar strings are contracting. I mean, everything's falling out of tune 2 minutes into the song. It was just heartening. The Sutters were there, and Daryl Sutter's boy, Christopher, Down syndrome, special kid. You know, he's the heart and soul of the Los Angeles Kings Stanley Cups. It was amazing. It was the Lido and A1 places you'd go for steaks and Chinese food. I used to go to independent creameries for ice cream and shakes. And we used to go all the time in the summer for the Lacombe Lions ball tournament with Carrie's father. John was a great baseball player, so he would drag us along to the ball tournament. And yeah, it was a fantastic, as every homecoming is, it was just a reminder of, well, to finish that story about 2 hours sleep, there used to be a little campground on Highway 2A below Black Falls. There's a tributary of the Red Deer River. It's not a campground anymore, but in the day it was, right off Highway 2A at the Red Deer River tributary. And we would go there and party. And I remember it being turned off rye whiskey. I've never drank rye whiskey since a bad experience there. But you had to go home and put on a good show for mom and dad, right? So you learned with little sleep to perform. That's what got me through Lacombe.